Hi everyone, Lillian here from Card Crafts by Lily. Tonight I'm going to show you how to make this little tote gift bag. It's doing the rounds at the minute and it's really pretty, and I succumbed to it in the end and now it's totally addictive. These are 3 examples of the little bags I've made. This is the original bag. This was a copy from Caroline Hallett's original version. I will give you the details of Caroline's site later. So this is what started me off on making these gorgeous little bags. I've made 2 different sizes. That's the 5-inch and the 3.5 inch. I'm going to show you the 5-inch version tonight, although it won't be in this pattern, it'll be in this one. Most of this stuff is retiring or already retired papers, but I'm giving you the basics on how to make the card, and it'll look beautiful in whichever designer series papers you decide to use. So let's get started. Okay, to speed things along, I've more or less made this up practically as a little kit. I am sure and certain you don't want to have to sit and watch me paper piercing all these little items bit by bit. It would be very boring for you, I would imagine. So I've already prepared it in advance and I'm just going to explain what I've done and how to assemble it. So to start off with, I'll explain what we've got. This is the bottom piece. It would be sort of the box that, let me just show you. The bottom piece here, the box that would hold the whole bag together. It makes the bag actually really quite strong. This piece would be, I would call this the wrap. That's the bit that wraps around and actually makes the bag piece. This would be the bottom detail. I've actually scalloped it just to give it a little bit of interest, but that would be the bottom trim. This would be the top trim, and the narrowest piece is the piece that goes around the inside of the bag, and that'll hide the back of the brad bases. Other little pieces, we have 2 little pieces here. They will fold over and they would be the, I don't know what you would call it, the little trims at the front, and these ones will fold and they will be the little loops at the side. And of course we've got our little doggy. He's from the Hot Diggity Dog stamps that I've just stamped him out and fussy cut him. I've also made a little designer label, I suppose you'd call it. This was from a stamp that was in one of the kits from the catalogue that's currently retiring. The kit is the Everyday Occasions kit, and you can make, I can't remember how many it is, it's something like 20 cards, and you get 7 little stamps in the kit. And this was one of them, made for you by me, and it has the Stampin' Up logo on it. But once it's put inside the little tote bag, it actually looks quite effective. Not sure if you can see that. Okay, so let's get to work and get this assembled, and I'll explain as I go along. If I don't make things very clear, do drop me a comment on my blog and I'll come back to you. Okay, the first thing I want to do is make the box base. This is the main part of it. I will put all measurements, all materials, etc. up on my blog for you. So nip over to the blog and follow the video there if you want that detail. But for now, we're going to score down a 1/2 inch at all 4 sides of this little piece, this little base piece. I'm using the Stampin' Up scoring tool. If you don't have it, you could use your Stampin' Up trimmer, because it obviously has the scoring blade on it as well, which I totally love. Now, simple as that. Nothing too difficult to do really. Oops. And trim, or not trim, snip 4 little flaps. So that's the base, easy peasy. Now, next thing we want to do is take the wrap. This is the bag itself. I love the design of this paper. Now I've taken the sticky strip already and put a strip along the bottom and a strip along one side. Need to take that off. Oops. Now, when you start sticking this to your base, you start at the end that hasn't the sticky strip on the side. You start at this side, just for the sticky strip on the bottom. So, see if I can explain this. And you're going to start, oh, let me get this the right way up. That's the bottom, and that's the inside, just so that you know, don't stick it the wrong way. The sticky strips on the bottom of your designer series paper, you're going to start about halfway across. That'll make the seam at the back. And just stick it down there and make sure it's well stuck down inside. And basically wrap it right around the base. Oops. I'm filming at night and the light probably isn't best quality, although I do have two big lamps on, those high powered lightsaber ones behind me, the photography ones. But I still think you need daylight. So that's it, basically wrapped around the bottom, and this is the sticky part at the side. It folds in last, and you just bring it all together like that. There we go. And that is the basis of your bag, really. Very, very simple. But that'll be quite sturdy. So the next thing I want is the bottom trim. Now, I will show you, as with all of these pieces, the grey pieces, I have paper pierced them all and used the white gel pen to make my stitches. This one here is a wee bit different because I've used the scallop punch on it to make the scallop trim. Now the scallop punch is retiring. You'll only have until the 2nd of June to order that. I can't believe it's retiring. I absolutely love it. Although they have brought in a beautiful heart one that I'm going to buy to replace this. So I paper pierced them all. I've used the white gel pen, and this one I've used the scallop. And what I've also done is use my dauber, my basic grey ink pad, and distressed all of the edges like that. I will show you now. Actually, I've left one little piece to finish off. As I say, I didn't want to stand and doing all of this, and well, I'm sure you would be totally bored. So let me try and zoom in a little bit on that to show you what I was doing. So the paper piercer, try and bring that in maybe, no, won't come in anymore. I just run the paper piercer very quickly down here. Paper piercer and the piercing mat are both available on Stampin' Up. As you can see, my poor piercing mat is starting to look the worse for wear. Simple as that. That's the piercing. It's all done freehand. Likewise, the stitching. And I have tried different methods to see if I can speed this up. I've drawn a line down, a white line down, and run the paper piercer down it. I've tried piercing it and just running the white gel pen down it. But nothing looks as good as taking the time and being a bit fussy and doing one stitch at a time. And yes, it's a bit laborious, but it's worth it in the end. Doesn't look like anything at the minute like this, but when it's all put together, trust me, it looks really authentic. One of the ladies from my class, when I first brought the bags to show them in class, actually went over and lifted one up and run her finger along because she actually thought it had been stitched. These two little pieces you will need to run the bone folder over because they're going to be curved. They'll be the little loops at the side of your bag. So let me zoom out again and we'll start, or continue I should say, with the assembly of the bag. Okay, finally I managed to get the sticky strip off it. Likewise with the bottom piece, the scalloped edge, you're going to start about the middle at the back, as you had done with your bag wrap, your DSP, and just start to wrap it around. Already my fingers are sticking to the tape. Already it's starting to look really good. You will love making this bag. You will absolutely love it if you haven't tried it already. See how effective that is? Isn't that lovely? The next thing, I have already taken sticky strip off, and it's the same process. The top, see how quickly that's starting to all take shape now. Very cute. Right, the next thing I need to look at is the handles. So I'd forgotten to bring these pieces in earlier to show you. These are shorter than the other pieces. They're 12 inches long. These are 8 inches long. And they're rounded at both ends. I've already, like the others, prepared this one. I've paper pierced it, put the stitching, the white gel stitching on it, and the dauber distressing down the side. This one I've left to show you exactly what I do. The most important thing at the minute to show you is how to get the rounded end, and I'm using the 1-inch circle punch, and instead of putting it right through as you normally would the punch, I want this end here rounded, so I'm going to feed it in, hopefully you can see this, into the center of the punch, but I'm going to pick it out like that, pull it through until you can see in here. I'm watching in here for the end of it to appear, and once I see it I just push it back in slightly, punch it, and that just rounds the ends off for me nicely. So the next thing to do is paper pierce, put my white gel stitching on, and then I'll show you how to actually make the handles. I think that is probably the thing that makes it look most authentic. So bear with me. And we just need some sticky strip now. On the handles I only run it down one side, not down the middle, down the side. Now, the thing with the handles is you could, I suppose, if you wanted, run a score line down the middle to make it easier to fold. I didn't, because I actually like the bit of manhandling on the handle. I think it again makes it look more authentic. So I kind of crease it in the middle a little bit with my nails to get the first fold going. Let's see, don't know if you can see that. I'm getting the sides to meet there. Let's see, sorry, went off camera a little bit. Getting the sides to meet there. Now you do the same down, but you leave this little piece at the bottom, sort of about the length of your, not quite even your first knuckle at the bottom. This piece you're going to kind of fold back on itself to flatten it, like that. So you're left with a narrow handle and the flat base that attaches to the bag. Same at the other side. If it tears, which it can very easily do, because this is a fair bit of abuse it's taking, just put a wee bit more sticky strip in and reinforce it. Again, down to the bottom, flatten that out, and that basically is your handle shape. I hope I haven't missed most of that on camera. And let me go out a little bit, sorry. The bone folder to finish that off. And you do the same with the second one, obviously. Right, this is a lovely piece to do. What I need to do now is attach the handle, obviously, to the bag. I'm going to be using the antique brads. They're absolutely stunning. There's 20 in a little box, and they're all assorted. So I need 4 of them, and I'm taking 4 of the smaller ones. I don't know if you can see that. They are just beautiful. So I need to position my handle Now we've got the flat, that's still a bit sticky at the back, so it'll help hold it in place, but I'm just going to place it roughly for now to see where it needs to go. And I reckon about there. I'll maybe close that one up a little bit more actually. Let's see, yep. Try it again. Oh, more thumbs. Yep, probably about there. So I need my paper piercer. Now, hopefully you'll not see any blood here, and do be careful if you're doing this yourself, or indeed put it down on the corner of a piercing mat and do it, but I do it just freehand. So you're sticking the paper piercing tool, give it a wee wriggle and a twist right through all those pieces of card. I give it a wee bit of a wrangle about to increase the hole size a little bit. Now the brads, when I put them in, I want them to split to the side and not up and down, so that's the way I put them in if possible. Hopefully you'll see what I mean. There's the little brad on inside. Use your nail to separate them, but you want them going this way, not this way. Like that. That's your 4 little antique brads on, starting to look absolutely stunning already. Now what I want to do is hide the inside of the brads, obviously, so this is where this little strip comes in. I give it a quick pull round this way, the opposite way that you would normally do it, because normally you do it this way with this on the outside, but I want this to wrap inside like that. If you can see that, it's very difficult in this light to put both my hands in there and try and allow some light in for you to see, but that's just covering the brad, so I'm obviously going to continue that on round till it meets back at this side again. Put a wee one round. Make sure it's all well down, but that's the inside of the bag. Looking good. And we're getting there. Now, these little pieces that I said earlier, they're the loop pieces. And I've just put a little tiny piece of tape on the end of it there. So I need to take that off. And you're just going to attach the end like that to make your little lip, and you'll use a piece of sticky strip just to stick it inside here so that it sits outside like that. I'd have cut out the tedious pieces of you watching me fight with the backing of sticky strip. So that's that little loop assembled, I put another little piece of sticky strip down the back of it. I kind of pinched this together a little bit to make an indent in it where I can see where I want to put the little side lip. Let's see, and it's about that depth in. Stick it down, and there we go. Oh, I picked up a spare piece. These bits here are for the front and the back, so I've already one piece of sticky strip on it. I just sort of center it up there in the middle and fold it over. Let it go down the inside. That's the front, and I like it particularly for the back because it hides that little bit of seam. There we go. Again, fold it over. I don't do a lot of scoring on these because I do think when they're a little bit distressed, it looks more like leather. It looks more realistic. That's that little piece. And finally, the little designer label I made for the inside. I've done the same thing, paper pierced it, and I did the stitching this time in basic grey, mounted it on a basic grey back, and ignore this because I was going to do it that way, but I decided to pierce the white instead of the grey. And for this I used a lot of tumble because I want to make sure that sticks really, really well. So the corner, hopefully you can see this, popping it down just below the little tab I put on a couple of minutes ago. You'll not be able to see this until I take my hands out. And try and make sure it goes in straight. And hold it for a couple of seconds to let it go off. And this just makes such a difference to the bag. See, it's now almost no longer a little paper bag. It looks starting to look like the real thing, really. There's the little designer label on the inside. So the only thing we've left to do now basically is our tag, our little charm. And as I said, I'm using the doggy. I've already cut him out and what have you. I cut the punch out with the, what was it? The 1 1/4 inch scallop punch. With the basic grey, I distressed the edges of it. I cut the white out with a 1 inch circle punch, paper pierced it, did the stitches in basic grey, and I used my crocodile to pierce a little hole in it. Now I have a little chain. Now if you need to know where to get these, if you've trouble getting these, I used I think it was a UK supplier to source these. So my little dog just needs to be stuck down. I did, by the way, use on my other one, I used Crystal Effects, if you can see that, to give him a shiny finish and a little rhinestone jewel for his eye. But for now, I mean, that's something I can finish later. For now I'm going to stick him down. As his nose is going to be sticking out a little bit over the scallop, I've coloured the back in just with a basic black pen. On the larger one that I did earlier, I used a larger scallop, which you can of course do, and he'll fit perfectly onto it, so you don't need to worry about that. But I quite like the design of this little one as well. So a little bit of glue sort of around his head, and don't do his nose because it's going to hang over. position it on. There we go. And the little piece through. And there's your little bag charm. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed that tutorial and it hasn't been too boring for you. This was the original one I had made, the little 3.5 inches. This is the 5.5 inch. The 3.5 inch, you can put little treats, mini lip balms, hand creams, etc., whatever in it, or you could make little cards, little thank you cards, little gift cards to go in it. That's the little mini notelet cards and envelopes that you can buy already pre-made up and scored, pre-cut and scored from Stampin' Up. I will leave the details of this little card actually on my blog as well. So that's the small bag, that's the larger bag. The larger bag will hold the standard A6 size card. I've just used a blank one for that, but it will hold those and the envelopes. Again, larger treats. And the one thing I'll point out about this bag, as opposed to this bag that I'd done originally, I had done longer handles on this. It's all a matter of preference, and shorter ones than this. So it depends on what you like, really. These are 8-inch handles and these are 10-inch handles. Just play about with it. You'll come up with your own design. I'm sure something even more lovely than mine. And I do hope you enjoy it, and I would love to see any pictures or anything that you've got on it, so email them through to me and I'd love to put them on my blog with your permission. Now, as I say, nip over to the blog and leave me some feedback. I would love to hear from you. But that's it for now, and I'll leave the blog details at the end, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye for now.